On today's installment of Silver Screen News, a Mickey Mouse horror movie. Yes, really. A sort of surprise in the upcoming Godzilla X Kong video game movie news, because that's going to be a big thing in 2024, as we've said repeatedly. The John Cena Wile E. Coyote movie, yeah, that's still happening. We've got some Star Wars news, so that's always scary.
And it's a new year, so let's talk about the new DC with the Joker and Superman Legacy.
Hello, everyone. It is good to be back. Happy New Year to everyone. I'm Nico Luro, and I'm joined as always by
the one AJ, Anthony Jordan.
Yes, and AJ, to answer your question, my mic is on, but I will bring it closer to my face. Right. So this is Silver Screen News, our weekly movie news show. Well, it's going to be weekly now that we're back in 2004. If you want to jump to a specific news story, the timestamps are right down below. If you
Did you say 2004, 2024?
I should have said, I did say 2004, and that's 1987 brain kicking in. 2024. Yeah, timestamps to our specific news stories are down in the description below or on the little YouTube tab right there. If you're new to the show, please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. But without further ado, AJ, shall we talk about this? This is weird. Shall we talk about a Mickey Mouse horror movie?
Sure, if they can do Blood and Honey, I can do a horror movie too. That's my best Mickey Mouse you're going to get.
I wasn't bad, AJ. Keep going. But yeah, bro, Steamboat Willie, a horror film announced as Mickey Mouse. I still can't believe this has happened. Mickey Mouse enters public domain. And to quote, as you said, AJ, first it was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Now get ready for Steamboat Willie as a horror film. The 1928 version of Mickey Mouse entered the public domain on Monday, and indie horror producers are wasting no time in capitalizing on it. Stephen LaMorte is set to direct an untitled horror comedy based on Mickey's cartoon debut. In it, a sadistic mouse will torment a group of unsuspecting ferry passengers. Okay, I love that. Production is set to begin in the spring. Steamboat Willie has brought joy to generations, but beneath that cheerful exterior lies the potential for pure, unhinged terror, LaMorte said in a press release. It's a project I've been dreaming of, and I can't wait to unleash this twisted take on this beloved character to the world. LaMorte previously directed The Mean One, a horror parody of The Grinch. It all comes from our love of these characters, he said in an interview. Filmmakers we're all kids in the sandbox. We love taking them and playing with them in different ways. It's not a desire to ruin these characters or make a quick buck. Lies. But to love them and honor them and show them in a new light. Disney's copyright to Steamboat Willie expired on Monday, along with its right to the original versions of Mickey and Minnie Mouse, but it still holds copyright for the later, more familiar versions of the characters. Disney has said that it would also be vigilant in defending its trademarks. The company could sue over any perceived endorsement or affiliation with its brand. We will, of course, continue to protect our rights in the more modern versions of Mickey Mouse and other works that remain subject to copyright, and we will work to safeguard against consumer confusion caused by unauthorized uses of Mickey and our other iconic characters, the company said in a statement last month. AJ, can you believe this is happening, and your thoughts on the coming?
I'm not going to lie. I don't know if you saw the reaction when you first said Mickey Mouse has become public domain. I literally nearly choked on my water because I couldn't believe that Disney let that slip. It's the House of Mouse, but Steamboat Willie is probably an incarnation of Mickey Mouse that's not so familiar. UK filmmakers, I'm calling you guys here because what I would like to do, while Disney would like to protect the assets as it currently stands right now, there is one line that we can do that the Americans can't, and that's surely seeing a giant mouse and go, "You've got to be taking the Mickey," right? That's the first thing I want to do as a UK film. But yeah, in a world where we've got Blood and Honey as a thing, why not? Let's see what Steamboat Willie can bring to the party too. That's the interesting part. It's very weird. Excuse me, but irrelevant of what incarnation of Mickey Mouse is available, Disney let that slip because that's the prize icon. That's the one. If you've ever watched a movie Mount Rushmore, that's El Capitan, El Numero Uno, the King of Kings, the best of the best. Like, we could go on. I'm very, very shocked that no matter which version of Mickey Mouse it is, has been released. But hey, if it's on public domain, I might even try to jump on the party too myself. But yeah, that's an interesting one. But bring it on.
Dude, this creates mass confusion at the end of the day, because if you think about it this way, right? Disney let something that, I mean, it wasn't the first iteration of Mickey Mouse. You had that Oswald the Rabbit character that changed into Steamboat Willie, that then changed into early Mickey Mouse, that then changed into the Mickey Mouse that we know today, right? But they're all kind of much of a muchness. And it's like Disney's, as you've said, the king. I mean, this is the guy that South Park take the Mickey out of whenever they're doing a Marvel or Star Wars spin-off. You know, sooner or later, the boss of Disney is a big mouse smoking cigarettes, you know, collar turned up, and he walks in going, "Why do I always have to step in and kick your guys?" You know what? But like, this is shocking to me that this has been allowed to happen. Like, listen, I was ready to lay into Bob Chapek again, he who doesn't like animation. I was like, this is stinks of Chapek. This is no. This is just. But Bob Iger's running the show at the moment. How has this happened? And like the fact that they're like, we're going to be very protective over our trademarks. Then why'd you let the trademarks go, dummies? Like, I'm sorry. 2 + 2 in this case seems to equal potato. It's weird to me that we're going to be in a world where they're not going to call it Mickey Mouse. But believe me very clearly, it's going to be effing evident that it's Mickey Mouse that we're seeing on screen mauling people. Anything else you want to add to this?
It's just a weird one. It is so weird. I can't wait to. As long as the mouse is on a boat, he's Steamboat Willie, isn't it? That's the only way I could see that we're gonna do this, because it's what? Oh, he has to be black and white. Like, it's obviously not gonna happen. But you know what I mean. So it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. There are so many innuendos that you could drop in there that don't necessarily say it's Disney. Like, yeah, you know, some real corrupt mouse who one day I'll have my own land and all kind of madness just to kind of mess with people. It's mad, but hey, they've let it slip. If you're willing to make it be public domain, let the public run with it.
Do you know? Oh, I'm not going to be able to do that whistle, that iconic Steamboat, you know, that iconic Steamboat Willie whistle. But if they wanted to go spooky with this, they could do something like the Daryl Hannah whistle from Kill Bill. They could do, you know, can you imagine serial killer ball going doo 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 doo, or even the Marlon Brando whistle from You Rock My World. I've got very dry lips tonight. I can't.
Yeah,
whistle.
But I get what you're saying.
I'm not make that whistle ominous.
Yeah,
listen. I saw
that
it. Honey, it was dumb fun. There's no way I'm not seeing this.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is more than Blood and Honey. It's Mickey Mouse, man. Sorry, Steamboat Willie, Disney, before you start to put your injunctions on what we're saying. But yeah, I'm down. I'm
completely down. Like, just to see, it's like, it's like a certain Phil Brooks. I don't like it, but I'm here for the carnage that's going to ensue from it. You know what I mean? Like, bring it on. Let us know what you guys think about this frankly crazy story down in the comment section below. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And with that, AJ, but since we're in the realm of animation, let's keep it animation, shall we? I like this story. It makes me happy. Let's talk about, well, one of my favorite things, which is John Cena. But let's talk about this Acme movie that he was involved with, because it was cancelled for the longest time, but it's found the light of day. Coyote versus Acme first look image released following cancellation reversal of John Cena movie. Here's the full story. Wile E. Coyote himself, or at least voice actor Eric Bowser, rang in the new year by sharing the first image from Coyote vs. Acme, which you can see on screen now. The live action animation hybrid movie that almost never had the chance to see the light of day. Previously, Warner Bros. Pictures seemed all set to add the movie to its list of tax write-offs, but in a surprising U-turn, the movie was instead shopped to other interested parties. Great move. In Bowser's post on X Twitter, he captioned the shot of Wile E. Coyote in courtroom. See you in 2024. While it has not yet been announced if anyone has snapped up distribution rights for the movie, it seems that Bowser is very positive that it will be released soon. And here's the image. AJ, what are your thoughts on this Wile E. Coyote movie with John Cena, and your thoughts on actually shopping projects around like this? And before we,
that's quite an interesting question. So first of all, a Wile E. Coyote movie with John Cena, I could just see John Cena playing the overly muscular but pencil-necked geek representative or someone who's trying to be like, our bombs are not to be blamed for you to get sued and what have you. The idea of it being shopped around is really interesting, though. I'm trying to figure out how do you bring John Cena and Wile E. Coyote into a film together. And that's the only kind of lawsuit and stuff I can picture. But the idea of shopping it around is quite interesting because just the whole premise of Wile E. Coyote, Acme, and the rest just feels very Warner Brothers. It feels very Cartoon Network, I know that's not where we first saw it, but that's where Warner really flourished. And the idea of it just not being entirely theirs is weird. Obviously, I know they're going to reap from it, but hey, I suppose here's the thing. Here's the interesting part. If there's a project out there that you don't necessarily want to take, but you can make some earnings from it, why not? But then that opens the world of possibilities to a load of other stuff in the same breath. So it'd be interesting, is what I say. It's weird, but it just says that, crossovers that you thought may not be possible may be possible in this world because, hey, the highest bidder wins nowadays, apparently.
Yeah. It's that wise words, the highest bidder does win. Listen, I like the idea of shopping movies around. I'm actually a big fan of it. Like, think about it this way. This movie had I believe it was a $70 million budget, and they were going to take a $30 million loss on it by doing a tax write-off with it. Now we're in a position where they're actually standing to gain some money, so that's a benefit for the studio. It gives the chance to do experimental movies like this, which you don't really see a lot of anymore. So it's still going to see the light of day. So the people that put time and effort and love into creating a project are still going to not only reap the benefits of having it seen, but maybe make a bit of buck off it too. Like, this is win-win all round. The only problem I have is that, especially considering they seem to be doing this mix of live action and animation, and especially considering they cast John Cena, who does speak pretty damn good Mandarin now. What I think, they shouldn't have called this Coyote versus Acme. They should have called this Coyote versus Timu. Ha! It writes itself. Listen, Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote were always amongst... They were amongst my favorite characters. It was Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote, and Taz of Tasmania. I loved those two cartoons. So I'm very, very interested to see where they go with this. The fact that this movie's going to be seen is a great thing. Anything you want to add?
Well, do you know what I'm thinking, especially when we talk about the tax rights? I know it's not so much for you, but it would have been interesting to see what would have happened with some of those DC projects that got shelved. Let's see what would have happened if they gave Batgirl or Batwoman the chance to breathe, I can't remember which one it was, girl or woman. But that was a project I was quite interested in. It would have been interesting to see what other shelf projects could have been with a bit of shopping around. But I get it. There's a new phase out there and you don't want to create more confusion than you already can create. So with that, I understand it. But yeah, before shelving it, shop it.
So definitely shop it. Although with DC, it becomes a slippery slope because they own the Warner Brothers have exclusive rights to DC. So that would have been a harder one to swing. But maybe they could have gone down a kind of Netflix and Marvel route or something. Don't know.
But this is also Warner, isn't it?
Warner is shopping it, which means it's going to be distributed by another studio.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you could do it with that, it is a slippery slope. It gets confusing.
DC's a tricky one. DC's a really, really tricky one because it's like a third-party thing that they own exclusivity to, as opposed to something which is an original IP that they created. I don't know the ins and outs, but it's that.
I get where you're going. I get where you're going. Yeah.
Also, really sorry to be vague on this, but I'm not allowed, literally not allowed to say more. I'm not by third degrees of separation, by you and me level. I know someone very close who worked on Batgirl, and they told me, I'm not even going to say he, she, they told me it's terrible. Terrible. And I know people will always listen. People are very fickle when it comes to these things. You've only got to look at what happened with Justice League and Snyder. Now it's like Zack Snyder can do no wrong. F Warner Brothers for letting him go. Yay, long live Zack Snyder and Netflix. And then Rebel Moon comes out and it's the biggest piece of donkey dung. One of the biggest pieces of donkey dung of 2023. And it's like, I've been telling y'all for a while. He's a visual director. Sometimes he's a visual noise.
I'm actually going to say that straight up. Like, I'm not his biggest fan. Do I like Man of Steel? Yes. But in the same breath, I have not been able to finish the other superhero movie, 3 hours and a bit long. I know a lot of people love it, but no. I really can't remember their name. With the Doctor in blue and Dr. Manhattan and...
Watchmen. I love that.
I can't finish it. There are some Snyder films I can't finish.
And there are some Snyder films which I recognize are terrible that I really like Sucker Punch. But
it was the other one, the Adam Project. Didn't watch it, but
didn't see it. But listen, he's a very, very visual first story, second storyteller. And most of the time, as I've always said, visuals don't beat story. It never works that way. Beautiful visuals without narrative purpose is visual noise. That's all it is. And that is fresh for about 5 minutes. Anyway, massive tangent done. What do you guys think about this Wile E. Coyote movie coming out? Let us know your thoughts in your comments down below. All right, let's pivot from animation and kind of animation. 2023 was a great year for video game IPs. Great year for video game IPs. And 2024 doesn't look like it's going to slow down. And with that, we've actually got some more video game news from Blumhouse. From no one less than Blumhouse. Yeah, you can flip it around now. Because I don't think this is a game you probably will have played, but you might have heard of it. Might have. It's called Dead by Daylight.
Rings a bell. PlayStation 2?
Started on PC, came to PlayStation. It's everywhere now. It's a lot of fun. Dead by Daylight movie gets promising update from Blumhouse VP. We've learned from Five Nights at Freddy's. Even that title, it's like, yeah, you learned from Five Nights at Freddy's, which admittedly was in a year of great comic book movies, video game movies, the least good of all of them, but it still made a lot of money. So
I don't think it was that bad a film. The end was a bit fluffed, but I don't think it was that bad a film.
The Dead by Daylight movie gets an optimistic update from Blumhouse Vice President Ryan Turek. By the way, can I just say the fact that he's called Turek and nearly that's a Turok name? It's like, dude, this is genius. The multiplayer horror video game was first released for Windows in 2016 and follows 4 players who must fight to survive against a vicious killer who is also controlled by a player. The Dead by Daylight movie was first announced by Blumhouse in March 2023. Speaking with Collider, Turek shares a promising update on the Dead by Daylight movie. As an avid player of the game itself, Turek explains that he looks at the film as the celebration of horror that the video game itself is. His full quote reads, "I will say that one of the projects that I'm active on is Dead by Daylight, which is the video game adaptation of a game that's been around for like 7 years. I look at that as the celebration of horror that the video game itself is. What we've learned from Five Nights at Freddy's is obviously steer towards the fans and make a video game adaptation for the fans. I'm a huge Dead by Daylight fan. I played, even though I steer to newer games like Alan Wake 2, and I'm like, let me play some Alan Wake 2 tonight. Hey, I'm gonna get into Dead by Daylight and play the killer tonight. That one I'm super excited about, and we're certainly mulling around what the way into it is." So, AJ, a horror video game adaptation from a studio noted for doing somewhat good to pretty damn good horror. Your thoughts?
So I have not really been disappointed by Blumhouse from what I've seen. I know you were. It made your worst film of the year. I'm also aware that was it him with another video game maker recently with the A24? Was that all meant to be in the same? There was another video game movie and something we mentioned previously.
What, Death Stranding, the Kojima game?
That was at A24, wasn't it? But wasn't there someone else with Jason Blumhouse? I'm sure.
There's a lot of video game movies in production at the moment.
There's something to keep an eye on here, guys. And with that, I feel that people are looking and taking it a bit more seriously. We've gone past and I say this respectfully, not that I'm going to go to his restaurant for him to poison me, but we've gone past the Uwe Boll era of video game movies. And that's a good thing. And I don't say it disrespectfully, I just couldn't get on with the films that he's made, and I don't know how they got funded. We're now in a place where you can follow the production of your movies, your video games into movies and enjoy it. The fact that the person, behind this is also saying they had a passion of playing the game also gives me hope. We're now going by what we've been preaching for the longest. Just follow the pattern. The video game has a story, just make it live action. It's not that hard. And with that, even without being familiar with the game, I'm interested. And I think what happens here is you get double benefits as an IP, because people are now either going to see the film and then get buy into the games, or go for the games and go to the film. So there should be a double winner if done right. And I don't understand why it took so long for it to happen, but I'm happy it's happening.
Yeah. And look, the thing I'll add to that is that the amount of video game adaptations on the horizon is crazy. Like this year alone, you've got the likes of, I'm just reading off another page here, Halo Season 2, Fallout, Borderlands, Arcane Season 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, The Witcher, Sirens of the Deep, Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft, Devil May Cry, Return to Silent Hill. And that's not even counting the fact that we've got things like The Last of Us Season 2 and most likely Season 3 coming, a God of War series from Amazon, and that long-awaited Ghost of Tsushima movie. Like this, we are about to enter, we've said it before, we are about to enter a golden age of video game movies. Yeah. Because it's really exciting what they're doing. This could all crash and burn, and 2023 might have been a teaser as opposed to the actual truth, but I'm super, super confident what the future holds. Now, with something like Dead by Daylight, to give you some context, what they've done over the course of the years, this whole 4v1 stuff, it's very interesting, because that one player who plays the serial killer, as both paid and free DLCs, they've introduced all sorts of iconic serial killers that you can play as, you know, your Mike Myers, your Jason Voorhees, your Freddy Kruegers, and there's a load of others, which your Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I just wonder how crazy Jason Blum's going to go with these licenses, because they can get the licenses for these things. Like, I believe a lot of them are public domain. Like, this could be that, this could be kind of like that Freddy versus Jason movie but actually good. Like, you can bring in a load of really interesting, iconic serial killers here, or not. You could also just have a lot of fun with this without using any of the big iconic names. Either way, this is another win for fans of video games and video game movies. Anything else you want to add on this?
Look, I feel that you're right. Again, just to re-emphasize something you said, it's that whole golden age of video games. I think where people have been slightly out of it with the comic book, and I'm not saying that can't come back, give it a breather, let it rest, let something else pick up. And what's good with this in a video game spectrum is there is so much diversity, because games have so many different angles. Where a superhero movie can feel repetitive and the phases can be something, you don't need to necessarily create a universe. you've just got the companies doing their thing, you know. And another thing that might even happen is, you know, we've got your Mattel world coming, which may not be a universe, but it's got different things happening in it. To know. So it's nice to see that cinemas having diversity and honoring our nostalgia, if you would. So I'm down.
What video game adaptation are you all most excited for? Let us know in the comment section down below and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let's talk about something a bit bigger now. Godzilla X Kong. This is something which I've had quite mixed feelings about. I've liked and sometimes loved this new Godzilla franchise. I thought that one that came out, I think it was 2014, that first of this new Godzilla franchise, I love it, man. I know that people are like, oh, you don't see Godzilla enough. It's like, yeah, but you don't see the shark much in Jaws. They just tease you throughout the whole thing. I loved it. It worked for me. Kong Skull Island, I know you're a fan of. It was like so-so for me. So-so. I still think the Peter Jackson movie is my Kong movie. Godzilla versus Kong was like so dumb, but so fun. Godzilla 2 King of the Monsters, I marked out because they put freaking Rodan and King Ghidorah in it. So it's like, man, if you're a Godzilla fan, enjoy. But it was also quite bad. Monarch on Apple Plus is really good. And then there's this Godzilla -1 that came out in December, but that's like the Toho stuff, not Legendary Pictures. So it's Japanese Godzilla. Godzilla is bad. So this is very much the American Legendary Pictures continuation of Godzilla. And, you know, the trailer came out and it looked dumb because I'd still take exception to how small Godzilla looks now compared to that 2014 movie where his foot was literally the size of a building. But we'll see. But here's the full story on what we've got, AJ, because apparently there's going to be a big titan added to this Godzilla X Kong movie, as if we didn't already have enough big titans. But here's the full story. Godzilla X Kong images reveal new Titan specialist, keeping up with returning heroes. New images from Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, offers a closer look at a Titan specialist joining 2 returning characters from the previous Monsterverse movie. The upcoming film will set its titular monsters team up to fight the Scar King, another ape titan whose presence threatens the world. Rebecca Hall and Brian Tyree Henry will be reprising their roles as Dr. Eileen Andrews and Bernie Hayes, respectively. Now, Total Film via Games Radar has revealed new images from the upcoming Godzilla X Kong New Empire, featuring a new Titan expert, alongside the returning humans, portrayed by Dan Stevens, the guest. The new character, Tracker, is described by director Adam Wingard as a specialist in these creatures. If you've got a sick Titan, Trap is your guy. And here's the images, AJ. So we've got man standing in front of yellow wall, wearing sunglasses. People against generic sci-fi backdrop with what looks like an arm from the Aliens thing that beats the alien queen in the bottom part of the screen. Man pointing in the jungle. And that's it. I'm quite angry. When you look at... Okay, I'm going to start this one. When you look at this thumbnail that they have at the top here, and it's like, Godzilla X Kong images reveal new Titan specialist. It's like, you're making me think something that's not fair, because I'm, like I imagine you did, thought new Titan. And in fact, what? Well, okay. Dan Stevens, in case you don't know, is the guy who did the motion capture and the voice for Beast in the upcoming Beauty and the Beast. So kind of a monster, but not really what I'm looking for. Not really what the title led me to believe. So you're going to tell me Man in Sunglasses is in movie, and I care why? I don't... Ooh, this annoys me so much. I don't come to these movies for the human interactions. If there's one of the few movies where you can get away with visual noise, that thing which I continuously bash, it's a monster movie. It's literally the epitome of visual noise. Show me a giant lizard with plasma breath, now fuchsia colored, and a big ape smacking an even bigger ape. Cool. I'm in. That's fine. You've got my money. I want to see big monsters smacking each other on a big screen. That's all it needs. The fact that Dan Stevens has been cast in this as someone called Tracker, so don't care. Your thoughts?
Kind of a cosign. I'm not going to lie. You hear of two Titans teaming up to take on another. Then you hear that, then you think, oh, maybe a tag team match is about to take place. Maybe there's a bit of Super Smash about to go down. No,
Yes.
no. We have the man who's only going to be a bystander because I don't think he's here to take on Kong. I don't think he's here to take on Godzilla. I don't think they're going to be knocked down and he's going to be the one whispering in their ear like he's Apollo, like he's what's the original Creed? But you get what I'm saying. He's not exactly going to be there to be like, you've got him, champ. Let me step in there. Because you know what? To quote Loki, a boot has no quarrel with an ant. I'll leave it there. Like, what can he do?
Yeah, I think this is a weird story they've gone with here. Like, this is when kind of too much press becomes counterintuitive because, look, it's a monster movie. I'm gonna say it again. It's a monster movie. We're just here for the monsters. Even in your movie, Kong, Skull Island, the fact that Samuel L. Jackson and John Goodman and John C. Reilly and all these people were in it, couldn't care less. And these are good actors. I just want to see Ape Boy doing Ape Boy stuff. Yeah. Anything to add?
Well, with the highest respect to Mr. Stevens, as you said, good actors, all high-ranking, like, name actors. You read it and I was like, care? Who? Like, if it was John Cena, Dwayne Johnson, I know this sounds very wrestling where I'm at the moment, Chris Pratt, heck, even Chris Pine, I may be like, okay, I see where we're going here. Give me Zac Efron. No. Dan Stevens. Maximum respect to you, bro. I'm not crapping on your work, but not the buzz I was looking for.
You get me? It's like they haven't just gone and added a megastar here.
I mean, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise joins.
Right.
Samuel Jackson from original 50 years before Godzilla came back on this earth. He's back again. How did he reappear? Is he playing his grandson? No.
To be honest, the only casting that's surrounded the two bits of casting that have surrounded the whole of the Godzilla franchise, one was with the first one when it's like, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are going to be in the movie together again. It's like, cool, you know, but that's a kind of little nerd thing. The fact that they were in the Godzilla movie added nothing to that Godzilla movie. Godzilla made that Godzilla movie. And, I thought what they did with Monarch on Apple TV Plus by having Kurt Russell in one era and having his son Wyatt Russell play a younger version of him in the past timeline, I was like, and they look so identical, those two. I was like, cool. That's a novel idea. But beyond that, I don't care. It's a monster movie, man. What do you guys think? Let us know down below. And also, who do you like more, Kong or Godzilla? We're very split here at the Silver Screen Dudes.
We are.
Very, very split. So, AJ, I believe we've got one more little story here. Oh, well, before we go into the comic book stuff, it's a Star Wars story.
Do it.
And I say that as a guy who loves Star Wars, but I'm always worried about the comment section when these things go down. And this story in particular, I was like, surely there's not going to be any negativity here. I found some for them to latch on to. Because that's just what a nice guy I am. But AJ, look, we've got some movement on this Rey story, this Rey movie that's coming out. It's a little bit self-indulgent and it's a little bit like actor and creator promoting movie, but here's the full story. Quote, "We're about to create something very special. Exciting update on the next Star Wars movie. Hints production is soon to begin." Star Wars New Jedi Order director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy provides an update on her forthcoming sequel that suggests production could be starting imminently. After seemingly bidding farewell to the character at the end of Rise of Skywalker, it was confirmed last year that Daisy Ridley will return as Rey for a new sequel. Obad Chinoy's upcoming film will be set 15 years later as Rey attempts to build, as the title suggests, a new Jedi Order. Now, with Star Wars New Jedi Order's release date still not set in stone, Obad Chinoy teases the project in a recent interview with CNN. While the filmmaker doesn't reveal too many details about the film, her comment does suggest that the production could be getting underway soon. Now, before I read this comment, I understand why this part made some people, why this part is going to make people angry, because I read it and I was like, shut up. So it's very short, but here's the comment from Obad Chinoy. I'm very thrilled about the project because I feel what we're about to create is something very special. That's fine. And we're in 2024 now. And it's about time we had a woman come forward to shape a story in a galaxy far, far away. So, just a reality check from Miss... What's her name again?
Chinoy?
Obad Chinoy, right. The head of Lucasfilm is a woman. Just putting it out there.
Can I just put an extra pin into that?
Please.
The sequel was based around a woman.
Sequel was based around a woman, but she's very much talking at it from a filmmaker standpoint, having a female direction and female vision, which, by the way, the vision of agenda shouldn't freaking matter in this. Just tell me a great story, irrespective. You still there?
Yeah, you're there. Yeah, you froze for a second.
Yeah. Just tell me a great story. Don't bring politics. Don't bring gender. Like, unfortunately, and I'm one of the people who, like you, who defends the Marvels, that the Marvels movie, and they're like, why are people really good, reaching for the pitchforks and saying it's woke? There's nothing woke about this movie other than the fact that a woman's in the lead. Beyond that, it's not woke, which we both agreed on, right?
Mm-hmm.
This already stinks. The fact that she hasn't had the wherewithal to be like, Star Wars fandom is incredibly divided at the moment. A lot of Star Wars fans are gunning for Kathleen Kennedy's blood. A lot of Star Wars fans feel that the sequel trilogy, I don't personally share this opinion, but feel that the sequel trilogy was very much an agenda-fueled, woke piece of storytelling. I don't agree, but I get why people feel that way. One thing that's pretty much universal is that to my knowledge at least, if you're one of these people, let us know down in the comment section below, but nobody likes everything from the Disney Star Wars era. Like, there's, no matter who you are, even you, like, and you're even like that, you're not big on Rogue One, even though I love it, you're not big on it. Even there, it's like, there are gaps with what Disney have created with Star Wars. This fandom is very divided, and it's divided over very specific things. Lack of continuity in the storytelling, lack of vision, lack of creative direction, agendas, wokeism, yada, yada, yada. Don't bring that to the party before we've even started production. Jesus wept. And this just made me angry because it's like a woman literally runs Lucasfilm. So to come back to her quote, which says, it's 2024 now. Oh, first off, that alone, it's like, well, that gives me serious shades of Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler, La Snow White. It's 2023 now. We don't need to have the prince save the princess. It's like, well, the dwarves, who are, 7 men, but yeah, they saved the princess, but I guess that needs to be exhumed as well. This whole, it's 2024 now. And it's about time we had a woman come forward. She doesn't say filmmaker. Listen to the words. It's about time we had a woman come forward to shape a story in a galaxy far, far away.
That's what I got confused.
Kathleen Kennedy literally shaped the galaxy far, far away for the last 10 years. It's literally been a woman who shaped the galaxy far, far away. Now, I did a very, very shallow dive onto Shamina Badchinoy's, onto her profile. Shamina Badchinoy is a Pakistani-Canadian journalist. Now, I have no issue with that. You just know some people are going to get racially nasty with that without even, that already. It's like, okay, you're already on an uphill struggle based on your ethnicity alone, which isn't fair, but the world is a sick, toxic place. So she's a Pakistani-Canadian journalist, filmmaker, and activist, known for her work in films that highlight gender inequality against women. Obad Shinoy received her bachelor's degree in economics and government from Smith's College and went on to earn 2 master's degrees from Stanford University. Say it again. An activist known for her work in films that highlight gender inequality. And now we come to her comment. We need a woman to come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away. Bro, this is such a losing position that you and me are going to find ourselves in as film pundits here, because it's like Ghostbusters 2016. There is not going to be a right side here. You say one thing, the other side will disagree with you, and vice versa. If I say now, hey, I think Shamina Badchinoy's comments are really quite ignorant to say that a woman needs to shape the future of a galaxy far, far away when it's literally been a woman shaping it for the last 10 years. And then you cross-reference that with what she's known for, which is referencing gender inequality, then all the people who are on the woke side are going to be like, you're a giant crying man, baby, and you're threatened by women. I mean, not the case. I'm very happily married. Believe me, I love women. Just ask my wife. I've got a daughter. Probably got another one on the way too. Just like, believe me, not a woman hater here. Very much the opposite. But I don't like being told something which is illogical. We need a woman driving the galaxy far, far away. P.S. By the way, Shamin, it is a woman driving the galaxy far, far away. But then if I say, hey, let's give her a chance, the other side are going to be like, nah, you're just one of these new Star Wars fans who likes all of this woke BS. Blah. It's like, we're in a losing position. So AJ, my diplomat friend, how do you navigate this? Because I've just highlighted how this is an absolute freaking minefield. Help.
Save the comments till after the film's made. That's if I was in her position, that's what I would have done. If the film comes out and it stunk, I tried. If the film comes out to be really cool and everyone's like, I really like what you delivered to me, this is what happens when you had a woman shape the universe of a galaxy far, far away. And it has so much more to it, It just has everything you need for it. It just says what it needs to be. But you said it now, and do you know what you've done? You've put the bar up for criticism. You've allowed it to be there because you're like, this is what happens when a woman does it. And the haters are going to hate. The haters are naturally going to be all over it to be like, yeah, go on. Let's see what a woman can do. And they can. Others are going to be waving the flag for girl power. And there is no one who's right or wrong. However, what I beg everyone to do is be blind to the situation. Forget who the director is. Go in there as a Star Wars fan, because that's what you should be doing. You go in there as a Star Wars fan and give it credit or discredit it deserves once you've finished the film. Don't go in there with your expectations. Go in there hoping to enjoy a movie, then say what you got to say right after.
Well said. I mean, as we joked a bit in a different topic off camera, it's the hope that kills you, right? But, and in the Star Wars context, this could be a new hope. But look, I think you're very wise words. Go in there with no agenda or politics of your own. That's the irony, isn't it? People always slam these filmmakers for having agendas or ideological views and not wanting to have that in movies, which is a fair enough stance. But then they bring their agendas into the movie and evaluate the movie based off of their agendas instead of just going in blank and being like, actually, I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah.
100% it's mad, isn't it? This weird cycle of toxicity we find ourselves in. And for once, I'm not even saying this is toxicity related to Star Wars fans. This is anything, be it music, movies, books, like politics, anything. People don't want to be preached to, but at the same time, people are preachy. People don't want to have agendas thrown in their face, but at the same time, bring their own agendas and with their points of view. It's like, it's very messy, isn't it?
It is indeed. It is indeed. But again, guys, just go in blind. Just like Justice. Put the blindfold on and go in. Don't worry about the backstage politics. Just go watch the film for what it is and what it means to you. Then criticize it or praise it.
Am I annoyed by her comments? Sure, but am I like AJ, someone who actually quite likes Rey Skywalker, the character? Yeah, and I'm interested to see what she does next. Is she a Mary Sue? Hell yeah, she's a Mary Sue. So is Luke Skywalker. Get over it. Let us know what you be gentle and be nice now, but let us know what you think of this volatile situation revolving around Star Wars in the comments section below. All right, let's talk comic book movies then. You've waited until the end of the show for this. AJ, should we talk about Joker Folie à Deux?
The interesting one, the interesting movie, the one that's got me really
so curious about this, man. You feel free to flip the screens around, but yeah, like, who would have thought the madness of the director of The Hangover? I mean, I appreciate comedy and tragedy are very, very, very narrowly divided, aren't they?
Yeah,
very narrowly divided, literally two sides of the same coin. But the guy who directed The Hangover went and did one of the most critically acclaimed comic book movies ever in The Joker. And now we're getting a sequel, and he's making it a musical. But look, here's some news on it. Here's a little bit of a thing on it. Todd Phillips offers a new look at Joker sequel. Is Todd Phillips Santa? Based on his usual reactions, we'd have pegged him as more of a Krampus type, or even the Grinch. And this is from Empire, by the way, not the Silver Screen Dudes. But for this Christmas season, he's offering up a gift. 2 of them, in fact, in the shape of new pictures from Joker Folie à Deux. Check them out. Let me see if I can enlarge this. Is that enlarged?
yeah.
So you've got clearly what looks like the inside of a cell at Arkham Asylum. You've got Joaquin Phoenix here behind the cell door. And there she is. New Harley. Yeah, Lady Gaga herself. Right, let me reduce that down. That star Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga as Arthur Fleck and Harley Quinn, respectively, in Phillips' latest take on the Joker story. Little has been officially released about the new movies, other than knowing that Arthur will still be in Arkham Asylum following the events of the first film, and that his time there will see him cross paths with Gaga's character, creating the newest incarnation of that twisted partnership. Oh, and it's a musical too. The sequel is currently set to be released on 4th of October, so we will still have a wait for this one, but hopefully a teaser will be headed our way before too long. Don't agree with that last part. You don't need to do a teaser when the movie's literally nearly a year away. But AJ, your thoughts on these pickies from Joker Folie à Deux?
I mean, look, he has to be in Arkham for him to meet Harley, right? That's just the way it goes. It's obviously it's kind of evident that he's going to be released because he's in, but it's nice to see him back in costume. We've not been granted the pleasures of seeing Harleen Quinzel become Harley Quinn yet, which is also nice. And I feel that that's the big reveal. It's kind of like, I'm going to throw it back a bit now, way further back than it should be as a memory in my head. But that time of Empire magazine, there was a lot of talk about the Dark Knight. There was a lot of talk about Heath Ledger being the Joker. Everyone was split all over the place. Empire magazine releases that image of him in his now famous Joker attire, and everyone's like, "Ooh!" I remember me going like, "Oh, okay, this is different. I like it." And that's the whole idea of this. We're talking about the guy who delivered The Hangover, who's now brought drama. Now he's showing, like, he's just expanding those wings and showing he could do musical too. I'm still having a singer sing is not a great challenge, but and she's a quirky one as well. So I've got a lot of hope for Gaga in this role. I hope it's more of her doing the singing than Phoenix. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't hate Walk the Line, but
it was good.
Yeah, but I'm still intrigued. We're still at early points. It's the images don't give a lot, but it gives enough. Is my thing. And I agree with you. Don't give us a teaser now because people are just going to be waiting and forgetting about it. Save it for July. Save it for September. Leave it for that time. Don't do it now.
Drop
January
a
14th.
Joker trailer at the beginning of the Super Bowl if you want to, which I appreciate it's in February, so maybe just a teaser, but then give the full trailer in July or something. But like,
Yeah,
hold off. No rush here.
Not needed, but cool images.
Listen, I don't think these images add a single iota to my already quite high excitement. It's Joaquin Phoenix as I've already seen him, and it's Lady Gaga looking exactly like Lady Gaga. Okay. Listen, I'm actually going to throw some shade here. I thought Joaquin Phoenix was an incredible Joker. Incredible. Rivaled Heath, definitely. Like, it was incredible what he did. He's not the Joker I'm most curious to see. I'm sorry, man. Like, after watching Saltburn and the Banshees of Inisherin 2 years ago, crazy to say that was 2 years ago now, but yeah. Have you seen the outtake of Barry Keoghan as the Joker that's on YouTube?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, like, I'm sorry. What? That's something I can't wait for. That's incredible.
You see, one of the other things that's going to help Keoghan anyway, and I'm not knocking Barry because the guy's absolutely amazing. There's not anything I've seen Barry Keoghan in and not enjoyed him in. Okay,
he's a force of nature.
Knock on him. But what's also helping his character, and I know you may disagree, he's got the bat to work with. It's kind of like the Venom movies. The longer you see Venom without Spider-Man, the worse it gets, kind of thing. As much as you love Carnage, you're fighting each other, but there's still meant to be somebody else there. It's kind of like this. It's like, okay, we've got Joker, we've got Harley, but who's stopping the threat, And he can't be as crazy because there's no one to counterbalance him, It's society. Yeah, okay, cool. I love the Joker. I love Joker as a movie. Right? Let's not get that crapped on. And I'm not crapping on this. But you are going to get more from another Joker when he's got an adversary to tackle. I'm just saying.
Going off on a weird tangent, but it's just because you brought up Venom. You remember how I predicted that they would go down the Lethal Protector storyline before that was announced? I saw the trailer and I went, they're doing Lethal Protector. I can't remember. Was it Big Tone or Nate? Someone was like, no. And I was like, 100% it's Lethal Protector. I'm going to call it now. There's a very famous Venom storyline called Along Came a Spider. And it's one of the alternate universes where he fights Spider-Man. I mean, nothing changes there. Don't be surprised if the subtitle for Venom 3 isn't called Along Came a Spider. I have a feeling you're going to see Spider-Man show up in Venom 3.
Andrew?
It's Tom.
You reckon?
I think it could be Tom. I'm not going to put... Look, Andrew, I'd like to see. I actually think they're going to go down the Amazing Spider-Man 3 route. I think Andrew Garfield's going to have another crack at it.
He deserves it.
He really does. He really does. I think he's going to have another crack at it. But it's just a set photo that came out. It's one of those irrelevant things, but it was a hat that Tom Hardy was wearing, and it is pixel perfect replica of a hat that Eddie Brock wears in the Along Came a Spider storyline. And it was one of those weird visual things that, sometimes you've got a memory that you remember when you're a kid and you say it to your parents and they're like, what the hell are you talking about? But it's something that's stuck with you because it's your memory, obviously. It was like one of those moments where I'm like, I think it's one of those, it wasn't a particularly important hat. It was just something in my head got triggered. I was like, hang on, let me read through the comic again. Ha! I believe that hat is the same hat that he wore in the Along Came a Spider storyline. Calling this prediction now. Feel free to make one of your notes so that when everyone says, no one would have called this, you can say, he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for this. Not as excited as I am to see Barry Keoghan in the Batman 2, because that guy is a force of freaking nature. But yeah, man, bring it on. And should we now go out of Gotham and into Metropolis?
As one always does.
Let's stop that. Let's talk Superman, AJ, because
before that, guys, I suppose we could do a double spin on this. What are your thoughts on the whole Lady Gaga and Barry. Your thoughts on the whole Joker, and what do you think? Are we going to have Along Came a Spider? You had a 2 for 1 there from us, and now we continue back in the world of DC.
Listen, I think you and me have both said for the longest time that Superman Legacy is pretty much unequivocally the most important comic book movie coming out ever. I don't think there's a movie that hindsight 2020 is a wonderful thing, isn't it? You know, you look back at 2008 and you look at how successful Iron Man was, and you think if that hadn't been successful, the MCU would never have happened. That's a fact looking back, right? When Iron Man came out, we didn't know that the next 15 years were going to happen.
Oh, God, no. Nowhere near.
No one knew. Everyone thought it was just going to be another throwaway Marvel movie with a washed-up actor, who at the time he was a washed-up actor, right? Crazy to think that. And then it was really good, and we got a universe. We know there's a universe coming here. But we've also seen universes announced before, and they've crashed and burned because everyone wants a universe, right?
The mummy is looking at you.
The mummy is looking at you. Exactly right. I trust in James Gunn. Looking at what he did in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I think the future's very bright for DC. But so much depends on this movie being good. Now, not just being good or great, most importantly, AJ, this movie being loved, right? And it can't be one of those Man of Steel situations where you've got the people like you and me who really love it, but you've also got equally people who really don't have any time for it. I can't understand it, but it's a thing, right? Superman Legacy can't divide people. We can't have a Man of Steel situation. As much as you and me love that movie, we can't have fans divided over this. This movie doesn't even need to make $1 billion. It won't be judged on that because it's still going to be carrying the stink, most recently of Aquaman 2, which is one of the most god-awful pieces of dung I've ever seen. I cannot begin to tell you how bad it is. But the whole last few years of DC, Superman Legacy is going to be carrying that baggage, right? People will say, oh, another DC movie. But there will be enough time elapsed, and there will also be, I hope by that time, enough of marketing done to make it very clear that this is a new thing. Not everyone will be aware of that. There will be some people who are just like, it's DC, I'm not interested. But much like I say, we don't care about the casual fan like we do in wrestling. I don't care about them. I care about appealing to the core demographic and letting that spread like wildfire. Same argument here. This movie needs to be loved, right? So with all that, we have a little update on Superman Legacy, if you would care to do your thing.
Let's have a listen.
James Gunn shares an encouraging production update ahead of filming. On social media platform Threads, Gunn, who is also co-CEO of DC Studios, was asked by a fan for a status update on the pre-production of Legacy.
He's co-CEO of what?
DC Studios.
Disney Studios, sorry. Okay.
No, DC. It's going swimmingly, Gunn replied. Sets being built, costumes being finished, actors studying roles, prosthetics and VFX models being made, flights booked. Here we go. Gunn's comment indicates that the Superman reboot is still on track to begin filming in March 2024 at Trilith Studios in Atlanta, Georgia. Superman Legacy, which will reboot the iconic DC superheroes film series for the first time since 2013, is expected to shoot on location across the globe, as well as on blue screen sound stages. While recent DC movies like Black Adam and The Batman have used Industrial Light and Magic's The Volume, a soundstage with a video wall that displays CGI backdrops that can be manipulated in real time during filming, Gunn has confirmed that Legacy will not use the groundbreaking technology. He explained that it wouldn't be practical for him to utilize The Volume since his sets are too big and his cameras move too much. Whoa! He added, Superman Legacy will follow Superman as he tries to reconcile his Kryptonian roots with his human upbringing. The hotly anticipated reboot will not be an origin story for the Man of Steel, with Gunn previously confirming that the DCU film will pick up with Clark Kent already operating as the superhero in Metropolis while working at the Daily Planet. While Legacy will be the first film in the DCU, the new shared universe will officially begin in 2024 with the release of the animated series Creature Commandos on Max. AJ, not a huge update, but your thoughts on everything James Gunn just discussed for Superman Legacy.
Look, I'm happy he's happy. Okay, it sounds stupid, but you don't. You could very much hear something in the vein of the previous Fantastic Four movie, where things were going well and directors start going in and boards start going another way, and it gets mismatched and it's ruined. It's going his way. It's his vision. Guardians of the Galaxy is something we're eternally grateful for. They were unknowns to us, and they are now household names that we love. And, you know, we want to see what happens. Even it says Star-Lord will return. Sadly, James Gunn won't be there. There's a new world for the Guardians, but that's not what we're talking about right now. But it's what we're focusing on is what he can create. I think it's why this animated series, I don't know what it's going to do, and I think that's a bit weird to start your universe with. But in terms of starting with a film, it doesn't get any bigger than Superman. It's just the way it is. And as much as my heart has always been like it should be Cavill, I think it's fresh. It's a good idea for it to not be that. Let it be fresh. Let it be a new complete vision. It needs to be that. And with that, it's there. And I think Superman being Superman, as much as Iron Man and the whole of Marvel has been something, the words Superman are synonymous with superhero. And that's the thing. So let it keep building. Let it go the way that he's happy. And let's just hopefully get the rebirth that DC deserves. Because there's a lot of decent characters in there. I'm not going to say great characters because they're not all to be loved. But the same goes for Marvel. But there are some household names there. We know the holy trinity of superheroes are owned by DC. The Flash, hopefully, will, reappear in a different light. And there are many things that we can do. Listen, Jason Momoa, who hasn't had the phone call to be Lobo. Yes, it was a board meeting, Jason, we know. But there's potential out there. So let it rain because, yeah, a lot rides on it. I'm not Superman's biggest flag waver, but I wasn't Captain America's biggest fan waver until The Winter Soldier came out. Sway me, bro. Just like Man has still done it. James, I believe in you. Let's create a legacy.
Well done. Let's create a legacy. Well played. I don't know if you meant that or not, but that was
I did.
Very well done. Yeah, look, I have to say, from a technical point of view, I'm most excited about the fact that he said his sets are too big and the camera moves too much to be filmed in the volume. Because I mean, the Batman was pretty freaking impressive visually, and that was filmed in the volume. So the fact that the scope of that is too small for what he's envisioning, bro, color me intrigued. There is this lingering thing that I can't help shake, and it's nothing to do with Superman. It's the whole Jacob Elordi saying Superman was too dark for him. I'm like, I saw Saltburn, bro. That was dark as hell. And then there's this new trailer that's coming out where he's literally playing a serial killer. I'm like, bro, there's some sour grapes here. Like, you got bad stuff, innit? That's what's going on. Either that or Superman Legacy better be the darkest thing this side of Saltburn that I've seen for a long time. Like, bring it. You got Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. I know nothing about this David Corn Sweat guy, but
has Hoult been confirmed as Luthor now?
Sorry?
Nicholas Holt's been confirmed.
Yeah, that's confirmed.
Nice.
Holt's Luthor. But yeah, man, like, super excited. Bring it on. Show me why this is going to be a success, because I believe it will be. Anything you want to add?
No, honestly, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful in a world where I'm not as anticipating or as eager, should I say, for a superhero movie. And yes, Crap Candy Man continues his reign of terror.
By the way,
you read about Aquaman.
Just to keep on that one, Crap Candy Man lived up to that moniker in Aquaman 2. Oh my God.
That's the thing. When you were like, it sucked, I was like, oh yeah, he's in there, isn't he? Surprise, surprise. But no, this is it. Like, let this era of DC die. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't entirely crap. We are very grateful for Man of Steel and the Schneider Cut, which I still haven't seen, but I respect the reviews that have come out from the people I trust. But hell, even the movie that I was quite disappointed in myself for watching wasn't bad, you know. So it didn't end on a complete sour note. Well, it ended on a sour note as the last movie, but its before last movie wasn't that bad. Like, look, just come and kick up a storm. Let's deliver some greatness. Let's avoid the Black Adams and others. Let's bring on some good films.
Others. And with all that, guys, once you've let us know what your thoughts are on Superman Legacy, we will bring you adieu, good night, bang, because that is it. Shout out to Kenny Omega. I really hope he's on the mend. But yeah, that is it for our first installment of Silver Screen News in 2024. Happy New Year to you all once again. We will be back next week with another news show. Stay tuned in the coming days for this behemoth that I'm in the process of editing, where I'm ranking every movie I saw in 2023. The video won't be too long. The edit is long. So stay tuned for that. And keep it right here on Silver Screen Dudes. Subscribe, like, and we will see you next week. Bye for now. See ya.
See ya.